Hey guys, today I wanted to share a favorite kind of recommendation video slash also some more books that I want to read in this category, and today we're talking about free verse novels. So it's been 5 years this summer since I was kind of introduced to free verse novels, and that summer 5 years ago I just went and requested all of them from the library, and I have a bunch of those that ended up becoming some of my favorites. And then I've continued to read other free verse novels over the last few years. And so I want to share a list of my favorites, and then I have two that are really high on my list that I want to read really soon because I've heard really good things about them. So I talked about this recently in my favorites video, my top 20 favorite, well, kind of 21 favorite fiction books video, which was incredibly hard to do because how do you pick favorites? But one of my favorites here is Maybe. This is kind of like the free verse novel that sucked me in, that got me into the whole genre. And I don't know if you can hear the baby. She's just chatting away in a very high-pitched voice. Oh well. This is kind of the kind of book that I want to write. Anyway, Maybe is a girl who is 12-ish, I think, and is very Little House on the Prairies, set in that kind of day. She goes and lives with a family that needs, I think, childcare help, and things happen and she ends up kind of being alone and things go down, and I don't know. I like free verse novels because I feel like they can dig into deeper topics than a lot of other books do. In this one, May is also dyslexic, and it just tackles tough topics in generally such a really good way. And you'll notice these are pretty much all middle grade books, because middle grade free verse, it goes so well because it's a deep topic, but it's not too deep. Yeah. Anyway, Maybe is my absolute favorite free verse novel to date. One that I read last summer is The Red Pencil, and this is all about a girl who lives in Sudan, I believe, somewhere around there at least, and this is kind of war-torn. She wants to learn to read and write, and yeah, just the whole way that free verse novels are written, I feel like you can just dig into some of these topics. So it's all about life in a refugee camp and learning to read and write as a girl, and I really enjoyed this one. Okay, and then I have two books, two kind of duologies, I guess, kind of companion novels. So there's Love That Dog and Hate That Cat. These are by Sharon Creech, and they are about a boy. Are they both about a boy who has to learn about poetry in school? And he talks about, yeah, so his boy's name's Jack. I can't remember if he was also in this one. Yeah. So Jack writes, learns about poetry in school. I think he's maybe grade 6, 7 or something. And these novels ensue. And, oh my goodness, she's so loud. Yeah, these were fun. They're not super wow, but I still really enjoyed them. And then, funnily enough, there's another companion kind of series. There's Little Dog Lost and Little Cat's Luck. So I don't know what's with the dog and cat thing going on, but these ones are so adorable. So in Little Dog Lost, there's a little dog that's lost, and there's a boy that really wants a dog, and I don't know, just the way it's written, it just really pulls at my heartstrings. I also find I'm not really good at reading aloud novels to my kids, but free verse novels are so easy because you just it's got the lines broken up for you, and it's quick, and this one has cute little illustrations. I just saw one. Yeah, so that one's what that's about. And then Little Cat's Luck is kind of pretty much a cat that is lost, and her name is Patches, and I don't know, these are just cute. I don't really have much to say about them. So then these ones were by Sharon Creech, and there's another one by Sharon Creech, Heartbeat. This is about a 12-year-old girl who, she loves to run, she loves to draw, and she's 12, and her parents are expecting their second child now. So it's kind of her thought process on what it's going to be like to not be an only child after 12 years of being an only child. And I read this one a year and a bit ago for middle grade March, and they're so easy to fly through, but yet so hard hitting. One that I talked about in my May and June wrap up is Alone. Yeah, this is gonna be probably one of my favorites as well. So this is about a girl who lives in Colorado, and her area is evacuated one night, and somehow she is the only one left, and she doesn't know why people left. And it is, I think it takes place over the course of 3 years, and she's just alone trying to figure out, it's very like Island of the Blue Dolphins, but like modern, trying to figure out how to survive in kind of like this modern world where we don't have those survival skills that they had in like Island of the Blue Dolphins. And I really liked this one thing on page 230. It's called Reading Project. I am reading my way alphabetically through the fiction section of the library. Now here's what I like. She's got rules. Rule 1, skip the book if I don't like the first page. 2, quit the book if it isn't interesting by page 21. 3, quit the book if there are no important female characters. 4, I can read books out of order if I want to. I just liked that. I was like, oh, maybe I need to like take some of those rules for my own reading. Okay, a couple of them that I read that summer I don't have here with me. That summer 5 years ago when I first started getting into free verse novels, but one of them that has stuck with me is called Two Girls Staring at a Ceiling, or The Ceiling. I tried to look, my library doesn't have it anymore, and I don't really know if this one was that great to me, but it impacted me because so this was the summer, 5 years ago, and I read this book. So this one is young adult. It's about a girl who kind of gets sick, and then she finds out that she has Crohn's, and it's kind of like her journey trying to figure out how to live with this disease and what that means for her. And it's totally a God thing, because I found out like 2 months after reading that book that I had Crohn's, and I don't know, it's just like, whoa, I didn't see my diagnosis coming, and she didn't see hers coming, and so for that reason that book like stuck with me more. I don't know if it's really that great of a book. I would like to read it again to find out, but it's definitely one that stuck with me. I've read a couple more free verse novels this year, so one that I really enjoyed is called Closer to Nowhere, and it is about two cousins really. This one cousin lives with her parents, and her other cousin comes and lives with her, and his mom has died, his dad's in jail, so it's kind of like a fostering situation, but they're actually family, and they don't get along, but there's growth throughout the book. And I really like the way it was set up, so it's like flips back and forth between the different cousins. I think it's Hannah and Cal are their names, and so they each have a different chapter, and I really liked that one. And then the other one that I read was Before the Ever After. It's about a boy who, I think it's maybe set in like the 70s, 80s. His dad's a football player, and he is had too many concussions, and it's like when that was kind of all starting to come out. I really don't know on the timing on that, and I liked it. I didn't connect as much with that book just because like football is just like so not something I'm interested in, but it was really well done, and I know lots of people have enjoyed that one. Then there's Home of the Brave. Okay, so this one's been 5 years since I read it or so, but I believe it's about kids that came from somewhere in Africa and then came to the States, and it's kind of like they're learning the culture. And free verse novels are so good for that. Like there's so many other free verse novels that are on my list that I want to read. I didn't write all of them down, but there's so many that deal with that like changing of the culture and just different topics that are so great to read about, but can be kind of hard to write, I think. And I feel like this format really works well for that. And then I think the last one that I have read is Bluebirds. So this is by Carolyn Starr Rose, who wrote Maybe. This one is, I think, does it go back and forth, or is it just the one girl? Yeah, it does go back and forth. It's been a few years since I read this. It's about a girl that goes to the States from England. They arrive on an island and meet like some First Nations people, and it's kind of like they're not sure of each other because they, you know, like from their parents, they kind of are a little bit fearful of each other, but realize they're like just both girls that are curious or whatever. And yeah, it's been a few years, but I really liked it. Plus this one was kind of cool because the different characters, so like have different fonts. This one was just a general normal font, but then our other character it has a different font, and I thought that was cool. This is one I would really like my daughter to read this year, actually both of these. Yeah, and then I have two that are like super high on my list. I know there are more, but two that I would really like to read. This first one is Land of the Cranes. I got this one out, I don't even know who I heard about it from. So it's about a family that fled to Los Angeles from the cartel wars in Mexico. So yeah, once again, like that whole immigrant story seems to be really popular with free verse novels. And then the other one that I want to read is Other Words for Home. Yeah, Other Words for Home. I know Krista read this one a couple months ago and really loved it, I believe. Also, now I'm like doubting whether or not this one's free verse. I'm pretty sure it's free verse. And I believe that one's also like an immigration story of some sort as well. So those are two that I would like to read in the next few months. Okay, so those are some of my favorite free verse novels. I probably forgot some. Actually, now that I think of it, I might be forgetting one right now. Okay, so the one that I said before the Ever After, the football one, was written by Jacqueline Woodson, I believe. And her Brown Girl Dreaming, I do not remember if I read it. I don't have it in Goodreads, but I'm like terrible at keeping track in Goodreads. So that is one that I would like to read. And then actually I had thought that Harbor Me, another one of her books, was in verse, but it's actually not. That one was a good one, but it wasn't in verse. So let me know if you have some favorite free verse novels that I can check out. I would definitely like to. And thanks again for watching, guys.